Boker Tov Boulder. Good morning and welcome to everyone in the Berkshires who's having brunch, and to our friends in Israel, Erev Tov in Beersheba. My name is Wayne Firestone. I'm the Executive Director of the Israel-America Friendship League, and we are thrilled to bring you this next episode in our Friends Indeed series. We are bringing you Dueling Delis today. With some food for thought for the rest of the day and for your weekend. We've got an amazing panel today of experts on deli. And for everyone who's on this call, whether you're on Facebook or Zoom, we'd love to know where you're calling in from today. So send us something in the chat. I see Columbus, Ohio. I see people from Kuwait. So we're going to have a wide-ranging discussion today. But we want to know, as you're calling in, what's your favorite dish at the deli? Let us know, and we'll hear some comments about favorite dishes from all our panelists as well. For everyone that's joining us live today, feel free to share this with all your friends. If you're on Facebook, you can host a watch party so other people can join in as well. I'm seeing, let's see, Kanish, I'm seeing Forest Hills, lots of people from Chicago, someone who has leftovers from Manny's, Potomac, Maryland, my friend David on the Long Island, Shore, who's missing his Dr. Brown celery soda from Katz's Deli, all our New Yorkers, we feel your pain. We've got so much today to indulge in, shall I say. We've got Shannon calling in from somewhere in the Berkshires as well. Shannon, you might know as the maven of the Nosher, who she co-created, and also the podcast Call Your Mother, which is a reminder that everyone on this call should actually call their mother now so that they could actually join us as well. We've got 8 generations of family deli, 4 generations from Danny Raskin and Manny's in Chicago, and 4 generations from Marc Canter since 1931 in Los Angeles, but even before that in New Jersey. So we've got a bi-coastal thing going on here. Everybody can enjoy and be part of it. And in the house today, go figure, deli expert and guru Jeff Garlin is joining us. Everyone, please curb your enthusiasm. Our the executive
Wayne.
Jeff?
Wayne.
Yes.
It's very exciting that I'm here.
You know, we had no idea, Jeff. We had no idea that you love deli so much. So, but you're the logical person to weigh in this discussion.
I'm honored.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us. It is early in the morning on the West Coast, so we appreciate you getting up for this. Okay, so we've got a group of people that know a thing or two about deli. We're going to start with a lightning round. I want to hear everyone. We're going to hear from the audience. There are people who are already just exploding with questions and exploding with enthusiasm for this topic. But
can I also say something? The idea that anyone's exploding, I think you're building this up too much. No one at any point is ever exploding with questions. I don't think that phrase has ever been used. Hey, I'm exploding with questions this morning. I've
had a lot of coffee already, Jeff. So for me,
hi, Wayne. That's how I'm here.
Okay, good.
The magic of coffee.
Shannon, 1 minute. When you're looking at a menu of deli, what should you be looking for? 1 minute to each one of you to start this lightning round. What's the real deal at a deli? How will you know it if you see it on the menu?
Oh, what a tough question. All right, well, that's easy. They have to have tongue. They have to have black cherry soda. They have to have some old school kishka, gribbiness, schmaltz. I need to see like very light food that's going to keep my girlish figure. No, look, deli is universal, but it's also distinct for the regions that it operates in, right? So a deli in New York and a deli in Atlanta, they're going to have slightly different slightly different things that they feature. But I think comfort. You need the comfort. Good, stick to your ribs, kind of old school Jewish food. And that's what I look for. But I am like pastrami on rye and whatever else on the menu kind of looks unique to that place. So I know that at Manny's, I'm ordering I'm getting stuffed cabbage, and I'm getting kishka and the corned beef, because that's what Manny's is known for. And at Canter's, I'm all about the mishmash soup. So that's what I think you got to go with, what that deli is known for, because everyone's a little bit different.
All right, Danny, if you're visiting a deli, we're going to hear about Manny's specialties in a minute, but if you're visiting, what are you looking for?
I'm always getting a combo sandwich, matzo ball soup, and laki.
Okay, man knows what he wants. Mark.
Always.
Well, okay, so delis really should be like deli/diner, because burgers are very popular in delis. So you have to also have a good burger. But it's true, you got to have the stuffed cabbage, you got to have the kasha varnish, because you got to have those obscure things that people can't find anywhere else. And you know, in today's world, it's getting a little harder to keep that up because it's so labor intensive. But as long as you have a good pickle, a good soup, you know, good corned beef, and you handle it properly, and you know, you have a good rye bread, you're a deli.
All right, Jeff, do you know immediately when you walk in what you're having?
No. No, I don't. I have no idea. I just know what I think what Shannon said is correct, which is if you know the deli, you know what they specialize in, what their groove is. And you want to do that at a specific deli. What they're known for is the way to go. Unless, I mean, when I go into a deli, it's one of the few places on earth where I can order anything on the menu and be very happy. And that's unique to a deli.
And do you take advice? Do you like ask the waitress, like, what's your specialty, and then sort of order that? Or
yeah, if my server talks like this, hey, doll, what can I get you? By the way, I had a tooth pulled. I'm seeing it in the thing. I'm getting an implant, so don't worry about it before I'm back on TV. Anyhow, you know, it depends. If you get an old time waitress, you know, doll, get the the lox and eggs and onions. Oh, by the way, that's usually my go-to. That's my tester for most delis. I get lox, eggs, and onions, and that tells me pretty much everything I need to know about a deli, including how long I have to wait for lox, eggs, and onions, because I find that most delis get that to you, not that specific dish, but delis move faster than any other restaurant do. I think that's the Jew thing, that where there's this feeling like I don't want hungry Jews waiting. I think that's if I owned a deli. And by the way, I have so much respect for delis. I'd never own a deli. I mean, you'd think I'd be a guy who'd go, yeah, let's open a deli there. I'm a comedian.
Danny,
It's too hard, and you got to care.
How fast can you guys serve a customer, Danny, on a regular day?
I mean, they're in and eating within 3 to 4 minutes, even with the line usually. So, I mean, these days are a little different with the spacing, but it's 3 to 4 minutes. People are in the line through. It actually depends on how long Gino talks.
Well,
sometimes he talks to them for about 4 minutes.
By the way, you have to understand every groove is different. I've never been to the Berkshires and Shannon's place. I look forward to that someday. What's that?
All right. Well, you're welcome to come. When are you coming?
As soon as the virus is over and I can leave my home. Anyhow, I have been to Canter's hundreds of times. I have been to Manny's Roosevelt Road hundreds of times. Both. I have certain favorites at each place, but it really is, at least with those two, apples and oranges. Completely. You know, it's not the same experience. Manny's, you say, how long does it take? You walk up and you just tell them what you want, and within a few seconds, it's on your tray. There's a waiter and waitress at Canter's, and that's a whole other different experience. But you really go to Canter's for as much to eat because you're hungry as you do. I've never had an uninteresting conversation at Canter's, either with people at tables nearby, because, by the way, late night Canter's, it's quite a show. It's about conversation and comfort, whereas Manny's is also that, don't get me wrong, but it's really about the food. Boom. Not the Canter's is not about the food. By the way, and I'm yammering a lot, I'll be off in a second. That is the thing about knowing a deli. You don't know if it's a good deli until you're brought the food.
Marc,
then you know.
Marc, your waiters and waitresses, how quick can they get something to the table, and who are some of the people that are overheard in these conversations that Jeff is having at your diner?
Well, okay, so that's a good question. So if you ordered a soup, they can get it to you in 30 seconds because they get that themselves. A corned beef or pastrami sandwich takes about a minute. The question is there, when we're busy, is there 8 or 9 tickets in front of yours? So the deli man can only make until he gets to your ticket. But as far as the ambience of who's going to be sitting around, there's all kind. He's right. There's a lot of different. It's very diverse, and there's all kinds of things. And celebrities are meeting. Okay, so Nicolas Cage met Patricia Arquette at Canter's. They were both famous at the time, but they didn't know each other. But they knew who each other were.
That same night I was there, I made out with both of them. Keep going.
Nicolas Cage was a regular. He'd come all the time. But just so happened Patricia Arquette was there. And he looked in and saw her, and he wrote a little note to the waiter or the waitress and gave it to them to pass, like it was like something passing a note in school or something. And she opened the note, kind of smiled, and they sat together, and then they ended up getting married. But I hear from a lot of people that when they find out I'm from Canter's, they say, oh, I met my spouse at Canter's. And after about the 50th time, I said, how is that possible? And it turns out the Nicolas Cage one was by accident. They just happened to both be there and whatever. But for the most case, they're on a blind date or something, and they pick Canter's as a neutral place because they're both familiar with it and they're comfortable with it. So it's the same thing. It just, you look around and there's something going on. There's a lot of table hopping and just.
So what did Patricia order? We could care less about Nicholas, but what was her order?
I don't know. I wasn't there then. I just got
pumpkin pie. Weird choice. Pumpkin pie.
Nicholas used to get a cheeseburger all the time.
Shannon, you've been to both these delis. Tell us about the ambiance. Tell us about the sort of differences you noticed when you were there.
Well, I'm going to say I agree with Jeff, but I'm still stuck on the fact that Jeff said I was right about something. So I'm hoping that after this, he's going to call my husband and tell Shannon was right. I think I have been to both. And I think what is unique about Canter's and Manny's and other delis around the country is that they really have a uniqueness of them, and they're part of the fabric of the culinary landscape in those cities, like far beyond just the Jewish community. That's very special. Obviously Jewish deli speaks to Jews in a very special way. Like we have, at least Ashkenazi Jews, we have this sense of nostalgia and we're connected to the food and the culture. But when delis like Canter's and Manny's have this, they have this connection to the wider community also, I think that really speaks to how Jews and Jewish food and culture is so entwined with American culture. The deli food is not what we were eating in the shtetl. Like there was no deli with pastrami and mustard on rye that you were eating in Russia. These are uniquely American Jewish creations that were, innovations of immigrants, and they've become part and parcel of the fabric of how people eat in this country.
All right. Well, I knew that this question was coming already from my feed. Why isn't there decent deli in Israel?
Oh, well, I think that speaks, I mean, it's kind of like a very straight up historical thing. It has to do with how people eat in Israel, and it has to do with the mix of people in Israel. But I mean, there's no reason there can't be good deli in Israel other than the fact that it really is a uniquely American creation.
Yeah,
right?
when you go to any of these delis, you're not saying, "How's your hummus today?" It's different than Israel. I'm just saying, it's like we're not running for the hummus. If we want hummus, we go to a Middle Eastern restaurant. That's really the premise. We don't go to, so it's just a different way of eating. I imagine there's got to be at least one good deli in Israel.
Yeah, we just got a shout out from Tel Aviv for Batya's Cafe. So, so for all our Israeli friends that are on, please make sure to weigh in on the conversation as well, and let us know if. And speaking of which, so you're saying there shouldn't be hummus on the menu. What about falafel?
Well, I didn't say shouldn't. It's just that you generally don't. It's not in big demand. If I walk into Canter's, I don't go, I'm going to get me some hummus tonight. It's just not. That's not our.
We actually have hummus and eggplant salad that we threw together with that roast chicken. So, but I did that.
I bet you that's good.
I did that actually. Well, roast chicken obviously isn't vegetarian, but I did it for two reasons. I wanted to get a few more vegetarian dishes on the menu for the people that aren't eating meat, so they could eat hummus and eggplant salad with pita, or bean salad. But we realized that we requested to get it with like a half a chicken, so we actually added that dish. But it's just there, but it's obviously not a staple.
Okay, well, I'm getting.
That's great that you offer it, and that goes with the thing. I think that also a great deli for someone who's maybe not Jewish or maybe doesn't have a lot of experience. It does have to have, and they all have, even Manny's, which is a different type of experience. You're sitting at a table, you feel like you're in a diner, and that would be if someone said, "What's a deli?" and they're not Jewish, I would go, "It's a Jewish diner." That's what it is. And you got to feel comfortable. Like, I'm comfortable in any diner. I'm really comfortable in any deli. And I like taking naps. Yeah, I enjoy pumpkins at Halloween. Just some things to learn about me.
Are you saying you're taking a nap at the deli? And if so, is that like a compliment to the food or an insult?
By the way, for me, if I took a nap in your deli after I've eaten, that's a compliment.
I used to do that in Chinese restaurants. But yeah. The questions that are coming in, first of all, we've already heard that the one deli mentioned in Tel Aviv actually shut. But I've received several other names of not in the time of this episode, apparently prior to it. But there are other sort of deli-like restaurants in Ramat Gan, in Machane Yehuda, in Jerusalem, and other places people are writing in. But I mean, let's face it, this is all lightness aside, this is a tough time to be in any food business with what we're going through, and it's been hard for family delis to maintain such a long time. I want to bring in Marc and Danny. Tell us a little bit about what your family has overcome in order for you to be running the business now, and what you're going to have to overcome in order to be able to continue it on for generations. Marc, tell us about.
By the way, I want to say one thing to Marc. Marc, I've postmated many a night at Canter's since this whole festival started. So much from Canter's. But, keep going.
All right. So okay. So.
No, thank you. Thank you for helping us, support us during this tough time. What kind of games are you playing? Keep going.
So Postmates has been a big help during all this because it's one of the ways that people get their food, and especially before, people that were ordering online were basically a younger 18 to maybe 40-year-old, 50-year-old. Now I guess it's people's grandkids are teaching their grandparents how to order from a phone or a computer, and because they have to, especially old people can't get out of that. They're more likely to stay home than anyone else. So actually, Postmates has been a huge. We've always had online orders since really 2012, but this last 4 or 5 months has really we've seen a spike in online orders, and so that's the way the future's been going anyways. And I think even after this is over, people are going to be so used to ordering their food that way that it's going to change the dynamics of a lot of things, especially not only food. I mean, even offices. If you worked in an office with 50 people, they're going to find now that you might, most people are working from home, so they might not need an office for 50 people. So we can seat like 300 people. I don't know if we'll ever see 300 people again. So you have to rethink the way this is going. Unfortunately, we've had to lay off or furlough, over 100 employees. We have over 150 employees, and now we're working with about 50 of them, which is still too much. But we're trying to keep it. We're trying to take one for the team and keep those, as many as we can working, that we can find something for them to do. Obviously, we can't have waiters and waitresses or busboys because there's, we're not open. We're just open for to go only. So this whole dynamic has definitely changed. But also, I'll say something, even before the pandemic, if you notice, a lot of delis have been disappearing. If you saw the Deli movie, you'd see that, they show that map. It's kind of chilling with 3,000 delis, and then it's all of a sudden, 140 delis. And this was 3-4 years ago. Now I bet you it's a third of that. But the only delis that, I shouldn't say the only, but most delis that are staying open is because they own their own property and they're willing to, keep it open because of the love of it. And it's not really, it's maybe not the smartest choice. If anyone's trying to open a deli today, they would have to be crazy because of all it's so labor intensive and the food cost is high and it's just hard to maintain. But we'll always do it. I mean, we're in the 4th generation now. I'm 3rd generation, and my kids, my cousins are involved. So, we're at 4th generation, and I'm sure it will go on. We have the name. We've been doing this since the dinosaurs roamed. But it's just a matter of how to keep it how to keep it economical to you can't just throw good money after bad money. You have to make sure you could keep it going and make it work. Otherwise you can't just throw money down the drain. So yeah, there is a demand for it. There's always a demand for that special food, but the question is how much effort does somebody want to put in to keep it going, or do you have to downsize? So we've also been experimenting with remote locations, and we have one in West LA now, and we have one in Pasadena. And actually, Postmates just opened one a couple of days ago of a license deal in downtown of us. So that might be the way to survive, because those little remote locations really are catering to the 3 to 4 mile range. So if you put one every 8 miles, you can cover the city. And be, only takes 2 employees to run it, and that might be the way the future is moving.
So I'll come to you in a second. I just have an interesting comment, because we saw those amazing historical photos of Canter's while you were speaking earlier, Marc, really celebrating some of that history and the reason we're rooting for you guys, the reason it actually matters. Plus, we want to see Jeff in some future, series and some new deli on the.
But by the way, you say that Curb Your Enthusiasm is filmed at Canter's.
Yeah.
We've filmed there before.
Excellent.
So it's like, and that was early on. It wasn't like we waited a long time. We're like, all right, we'll go to Canter's. There we go.
So someone mentioned someone who actually lives in a former Chicagoan said that their favorite waitress was Vern, but that the mural outside of Canter's shows some of her grandfather's actual friends as boys growing up in the Fairfax neighborhood. So wow. Literally, the history of the community and connections that people have are very warm. Danny, tell us about Manny's. Tell us about how your model has evolved or not. Chicago is, pretty steady as it goes. You've got to get us through this crisis. We're counting on it.
So we've been working really hard. When this stuff all started, we started going to the suburbs right away. So the downtown area is basically desolate, and that's where we're located. So we started doing daily deliveries to the south suburbs, west suburbs, north suburbs. and 6 days a week we're dropping off somewhere else, and it's really kept us afloat. And we did notice obviously a lot more deliveries. All the online delivery partners and people can order direct from us have been off the charts compared to before. But we were really slow until recently, and we finally put out a call to help and said, hey, customers, we need some of you to come back. And it's been tremendous. For the last week and a half, we've had a line to get in the restaurant from open to close. So it's been pretty amazing. And even through a pandemic with proper spacing, people are still coming in. We set up outdoor seating in our parking lot, and we also have limited indoor seating spaced properly. So it's definitely been a challenge. I mean, we've had a great 10 days, but it's been a hard few months.
Well, you want to maybe, Danny, I know you're physically in the deli as we speak. Could we maybe take a peek to see what it looks like?
Yeah, so let me turn this thing around right here. So we're gonna first start going through the dining room right now.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Danny, stop. Turn to those people. Turn to those people. Show them that I'm on here. Get them excited. Tell them
All right, hang on.
you actually have Jeff Garlin.
Hey, I'm talking to Jeff Garlin on the phone right now, and he wanted me to say hi to everybody.
Hello.
So, how you guys doing? So you're enjoying your sandwiches? Look, we got some big corned beef sandwiches over here.
All the good stuff.
Well, thank you.
Danny, do you know what my favorite thing is? They have no idea who I am, and I love it.
So, all right, let me turn this back around so we can finish the tour here. So we're gonna go back through here, and we'll just take you through the line just to let you see what we have going on today. So we just opened not too long ago.
That's where the register used to be.
Yeah, the registers used to be here, and now we change it to be at the end of the line.
Yep.
But people can place their breakfast orders here. We have our full salad counter right here. We have our lox and bagel station, and then more hot foods. I know Jeff likes the beef stew.
I love the beef stew. But by the way,
we got the stuffed cabinets
this
on
tour,
right here.
This is a great example of why it's different than other delis. It's different than Canter's. Canter's has the counters in front, also the deli counter and the baked goods counter, but it's not like this is where you get your food and walk to your table. It's not like that at most delis. It's what they call a steam table.
Yeah, it's a steam table line.
Yeah.
So here we got our sandwiches right here. We got Gino going on right here. And then you keep going to the line. We have all our sides.
Stop for the pudding. Show them your pudding.
All right, we got the pudding.
Is this?
We sold all the chocolate this morning already.
Is this where the love affair began?
Where?
With pudding.
Oh, with pudding? No, but it continued. I don't do sugar anymore. But by the way, FYI, best baked goods in Los Angeles are at Canter's. No exaggeration. And I don't know why. You'd have to ask Mark.
Did you eat that black and white cookie?
Yeah. No, unfortunately, I did not. I smiled at it, and my friend came over, and I said, I have a surprise, and they went nuts and loved it.
So now we're heading over to the deli section. This is like the grocery store where you can get all your meat and cheese by the pound. And we have our meat counter, fish
and your
counter.
Manny?
What's that?
Mom's Regula, right?
Yeah, right here. I'm coming to it right here. There we go.
Oh, those were the days for me when I could eat baked goods at Canter's and I've been, by the way, I've been in that room with you and enjoyed all of that. Those days are long gone, but I'm healthy. Hey.
So.
All right. Well, we're getting shout outs to delis all over the world. People, Miracle Mile in Phoenix, kosher style deli in Phoenix. Jeff, someone's asking when you were down in Miami if you had a favorite deli down in South Florida.
I most certainly did. It was called the Rascal House.
Oh yeah, classic.
And I love the Rascal House. I love pumpernicks. Delis in South Florida for me were about, I'm from Chicago, but we moved to South Florida when I was like 12. So I would go as vacation, visit my grandparents, lived at the Rascal House, continued that love affair as a teenager. And then the good folks at Jerry's Deli, or should I say bad folks at Jerry's Deli. The only deli in America that I hate is Jerry's Deli. And I'm sorry to say that, but they bought the Rascal House, drove it in the ground, and built their stupid place. I don't like it.
Wait, well, I'm going to tell you something funny, actually. Jerry himself doesn't like Jerry's Deli. Are you listening?
Really?
Okay, so
Tell me.
I guess he opened it in like 1978, and then soon after that, he sold it to Ike Starkman. But about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, Jerry himself, who I've never met, came into Canter's and was trying to book a Shiva for someone that passed away that he knew at Canter's. And I looked at him and I said, I know you obviously sold Jerry's, but wouldn't you want to have this at Jerry's? And he said, I don't like them.
Well, they ruined, this is not even a slight exaggeration. And you think I'm joking with the yelling because I yell like, but the reality is they ruined the Rascal House and drove it in the ground and got rid of it. And they always were going to do that. And I know we shouldn't be I'm a positive guy. I don't like talking negative. So I'm grateful that there are great delis, and I will support any great deli. Anyone who's watching this who has a deli that needs any advertising, I will do free commercials for any deli as long as it's good. I don't deal with mediocre delis. Not my thing.
That I must share, I actually got kicked out of a Jewish deli in New Jersey not that long ago. And it feels like
what?
Who would kick me out of a deli, right? Like if you saw this space in your deli, you would try to feed me. And this guy kicked me out. It was very sad.
I find that the strangest story I've heard in a long time. Because wait, hold on. Here's your story. I was at a deli and they kicked me out. Who would kick out this space? That means, here's the story that I'm imagining. Hey, you with the face, come here. You don't belong in here. Your face needs to be fed and it's Jewish. Get the hell out of here. What are you talking about? Why did they throw you out?
I wanted to do a video about them. There's this amazing deli in New Jersey.
So they threw you out.
They threw me out. Their matzo ball soup is the size of one of my children, which I thought like, that would make a great video. And I called them. They hung up on the phone on me. So I was like, "Oh, go in person. I'm this cute little Jewish gal. Like they're gonna warm up. They're gonna love this idea." And I was like, "Hi, I'm Shannon Sarna from the Nosher. I do these videos about restaurants all over the country, and I would love to do a video about your deli." And they were like, "Please get out of the restaurant." So I haven't been back to that deli. Even though it
reminded you of my character's wife, Susie, from Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's what you scared them. I'm sure of it. But you are an adorable Jewish girl.
Jeff, did you learn any of your characters from those Rascal House waitresses? Was that the voice you were channeling earlier?
By the way, they all talk that way. They talk that way at Canter's. They talk that way at Nate Nels. It's like that's the way you expect a waitress to talk. What do you need? No, the matzo brie is not what you think it is. They do it pancake style. If you don't like pancake style, get out. We just threw a woman out the other day. She came to our deli here in New Jersey. She irritated us. She had an adorable face, but something about her made me a bit crazy. And I offered her matzo brie. She said no.
Mark, I know you sent a package over to, we heard about the cookie that Jeff couldn't eat, but what did you like in the package, Jeff?
What did I like in the package? Well, I got to tell you, the lox and bagel was perfect. The bagel was warm, but not like toast. I don't like a real toasted bagel with my, and by the way, fresh bagels don't need to be toasted, but this is like warm. And the lox was nice and oily. I know this sounds like nice and oily, but yeah, that's what you want your lox to be oily. If it's not oily, it's not delightful. And then there was what's the sandwich with the sauerkraut and the classic sandwich.
Reuben.
A Reuben. I had some Reuben, some French fries, lox and bagel, and then to top it all off, a delightful knish.
What about the cheesecake? Did you eat that?
See, this is what you have to understand. I saw all of it, and my friend Heather came over, Jew, and her husband, Jew, and I said, I am sending a gift home for your husband that he will thank me forever. Because, by the way, I looked through all of it, and I'm not kidding, by the way. You're baked, like everyone says, what in what deli? I think what Canter's has that's better than anyone in LA by a country mile is all your baked goods, from your challah to your black and whites. I think your baked goods are ridiculous. And unfortunately, I can't eat them anymore.
Okay.
Shannon, there are some questions about the evolution of the deli as a purely Jewish kosher thing. When did that sort of evolution start? And like in your travels around to delis, what are some of the differences you've seen regionally in different delis with putting their own accent on it?
Yeah, sure. Well, I failed all history, so I couldn't give you the exact date of the evolution.
But you went to Smith. Isn't that like, the history of kosher food? Isn't that what they teach at Smith?
Was my major, obviously. Yes. No, I studied Spanish and politics. I don't know. I'm using that every day, obviously, in my work. The story, the evolution of delis and the Jewish kosher-ness of it really mirrors how Jews kind of traveled in America, meaning, the Jewish deli was really a meeting place at first, and it was serving up foods that were inspired by the foods that we had in, Ukraine, Romania, Poland, Austria, the places we came from. But these foods adapted wildly based on the things that we had here in America, and also how people were seeing others eating, right? So like one of the most quintessential Jewish American foods and stories is bagel and lox, right? Bagels were a Polish food. They were a Polish Jewish food. There's so many other Polish foods that were eaten by all kinds of Polish people, not just Jews. But bagels were really a Jewish food. Again, there was no deli or appetizing back in Poland, and people were having bagels and lox. The bagel got matched up with cream cheese and lox really between the 1930s and the 1950s in America. As cream cheese was invented, a woman's magazine paired them up, and Jews started to pick up habits of other immigrants, and these things got married all together. So it's sort of a combination of our histories. Same with pastrami. Pastrami is inspired by a Romanian dish that was actually made with duck, called pastrama, but beef was more widely available in the United States, and pastrama transformed into pastrami. One last fun fact about Jewish food and immigrant stories is that corned beef and cabbage, not actually Irish, actually a Jewish dish. And the reason that it became adopted by Irish immigrants is, of course, on the Lower East Side and throughout neighborhoods of New York, Jews, Irish, Italian immigrants all lived side by side. And in Ireland, there was a dish of cabbage and bacon, but bacon wasn't as widely available. And so the Irish immigrants saw their Jewish neighbors eating corned beef and adopted that as a new practice and a new dish, but it's actually Jewish inspired. I also am a product of those neighborhoods because I'm a pizza bagel, Italian mom and Jewish dad. So I'd like to think of myself as the ultimate Jewish immigrant experience.
Well, those pizza bagels have been a mainstay at many a bar mitzvah.
I have something. Can I say something?
Yeah,
one quick thing. Okay. So one of the tests for a deli, and there's a deli here, and I'm not saying what it is, and it's not Canter's, trust me. Where the bagels, excellent. The lox, excellent. The cream cheese, really mediocre. I don't know why, but if I had a deli, I do know why, I would taste test the cream cheese, because it's something that you might think like, oh, cream cheese. What's the difference between cream cheeses? They all do taste different, and a mediocre cream cheese ruins the lox and bagel.
All right.
So I'm saying a small ingredient that you think like cream cheese. What can no?
All right. All this talk of cream cheese leads me to a question that several people are asking, and it's sort of shocking. We'll do this as a lightning round. Give me your gut on this, all four of you. Sushi at the deli, good idea, bad idea, don't go there, depends on the cream cheese.
Well, hold on a second here. Are you making this up?
I can't make this stuff up.
No. Well, by the way,
make this stuff up. People want to know.
By the way, a safe for me, any sushi place that I go into, a lot of them have like lox and cream cheese sushi. They do, and that's like a safe one that you can order at a sushi place. But the idea that a deli would have sushi, look, it's not going to make me angry, but not a good idea.
All right, Bill is referring to the Philadelphia roll, but
yeah, Philadelphia roll. That's right. Yeah.
But I think the connection point is that at least a lot of Jews are eating a lot of sushi. Could that be a marriage for the deli going forward? Mark, good idea or bad idea?
Bad idea.
Bad idea. Okay.
Thank you, Mark. Bad idea. Bad idea.
Are we going to see anytime real soon at Manny's sushi on the menu?
No, definitely not.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about.
By the way, the Philadelphia roll is a nod to delis in a sushi place, and also it's like in the corner market in New York. They always have the Philadelphia roll. All right, keep going.
There is a restaurant in New York, a kosher restaurant, and I think the question about sushi and deli in the city is really a nod to actually kosher restaurants that often feature sushi as part of the menu. It's like, how can you have a bar mitzvah or a wedding without a sushi station? You can't anymore.
Right, they do. I know, yeah.
But there was a restaurant in New York, I'm not sure if it's still open, but they were doing like Ashkenazi comfort food dish inspired sushi, like cholent inspired sushi. One of my colleagues went to try it. She said it was interesting. Not exactly a ringing endorsement, but firmly anti-sushi in a deli. No.
Danny, tell me about an innovation. If sushi's a bad idea, tell me about an innovation or something that has changed on the menu at Manny's that has been a good step in the right direction.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing has changed.
No.
You love the Midwest. I mean, it just goes steady. It just keeps going.
We've added more turkey items, basically.
The East Coast, the West Coast, we've got complaints. We're kvetching about everything, and we make all these changes.
You added more turkey items?
Yeah, more turkey items.
Has there been a demand for turkey items?
Yeah, a lot of people.
Has anyone ever walked into Manny's and said, "Excuse me, where are your turkey items?"
We do, actually. We have a lot of people who don't eat beef anymore, so we had to eat some more. Obviously, we're not going to put pork on the menu, so we won't. Turkey's very popular now. We do like turkey meatloaf, just a lot of turkey breast, turkey pastrami.
All right, but Danny, just talk to us about the pastrami. I mean, there are people that they're waiting the whole episode. We saw that beautiful picture before, but can you just describe it to us? I know we tried to send one to Jeff from Chicago, but apparently they can't find.
But you're acting as if. By the way, I would have appreciated getting that package. Don't get me wrong, of the stuff. But you're talking to a man who's had pastrami many times at Manny, so I know how good it is. So go ahead.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah,
our pastrami is like the perfect texture. It's navel pastrami, so it's really rich, mouth watering. It's just it's not too greasy. It's got the right amount of flavor on there, so it's pretty perfect.
Okay, Mark, what is a good? You described some things that sounded like you won't find them on Manny's menu. Tell us about some of the innovations on your.
Okay, so we still have obviously all the old school deli, the potato pancakes, all that stuff's never going to change the blintzes. But what has changed is we've cross-pollinated the menu. We've taken deli items and made paninis out of it. We've taken we have a vegetarian vegetable soup now that we created and it's selling actually pretty well. We have a vegetarian Reuben, which is doing well. All that really is a garden patty, made with Reuben material. And we have Miss Goldfarb corned beef, which is a plant-based corned beef. So that's a way to go. If you used to eat meat and now you're a vegan or whatever, there's still opportunity to do that. So it's still all deli, and yeah, we have our turkey Reuben, and we have our turkey. We have a Matt special, which is on egg bread with coleslaw and Russian dressing and Munster cheese grilled, which is a really good sandwich. But it's just a matter of recreating the deli. All these new items are still deli items, so it's just a new generation of deli items.
Shannon, you have a book out about baking goods and bagels. What's a good idea for a sandwich that from your baker's perspective?
Well, I think it always starts with great bread. You need really good carbs for any sandwich, right? It's a little embarrassing, but my sister, who I love, would order corned beef on white bread growing up, and we would be like, how embarrassing is that? But I spent a lot of time working on a bagel recipe, and I have a lot of respect for hand-rolled bagels, making them, but also for the people across the country who are really reviving that tradition and are putting in all the quality bagels.
Marc, a challah bagel, a challah sandwich, maybe?
Okay, let me tell you, you cannot have pastrami on challah, but you can definitely have corned beef or brisket. But corned beef on challah is actually a very tasty sandwich. It really is. I know that rye bread is special, and you're never going to really, nothing on rye bread. I mean, corned beef, pastrami, whatever on rye bread is going to be your go-to. But don't underestimate corned beef on challah. For some reason, it works. It just works. And that's
all right, I've had corned beef on waffles, on frozen waffles, because I had extra corned beef and I had no bread, so I had it on a waffle, an Eggo, to be specific.
I think I saw that on Stranger Things.
But like a Jewish version of waffles.
What's that?
It's like a Jewish version of fried chicken and waffles.
It is actually kind of, when you look at it that way. Very good, yes. But the thing is, when you get takeout from a deli, you sometimes are dealt with, the challah is left over, and there's pastrami left over. I'm going to have my pastrami on challah today because that's what I'm working with. I don't complain. I'm happy.
Jeff, we advertise this as a dueling delis.
I know, which confused me.
Okay,
I didn't sign up for that.
Well, what do you bring to a duel over delis? What's the appropriate instrument to do if you're having a duel at a deli?
A duel at a deli, you give food. What are you talking about? But also it's very everything is very specific at a deli. Marc knows what at his deli he would recommend. As a matter of fact, that's what I asked for. They said, can we send you some stuff? And I said, send me whatever you like, but I'm really a fish guy. I love, white fish and lox and bagel. So I was happy to see lox and bagel, but I got other choices too. He's upset with the noise. Look at him. What's going on? Stop! Who's making noise?
Hey, quiet!
Do they not understand that you're on a very popular TV show?
Jeff, I told you that people were going to be exploding at some point. I just didn't realize the dog was going to take the brunt of of this. How about Danny? We're coming to you. Best deli in America. Make your case.
I just think the best deli it's not just the food, but it's the atmosphere and the people around you.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah,
they go hand in hand.
It's the total package. It's not just the food. It's not just the atmosphere. It's everything. But as you see from this, it's the family businesses. So the Canters, the Raskin family, those are what makes deli special.
Marc,
go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I was going to say the two things that first off, for the complete package, it is atmosphere and food, but you'll deal with great food, shitty atmosphere. Excuse my language. Crappy atmosphere. Obviously, before, the food's more important than the atmosphere, but they're tied in. But the thing he said, that's the reason why, I've been going to Manny's for years, and I know his father. And his father, I remember his father looking as young as he is right now. And so any great restaurant, this is why I don't get into the restaurant business. I feel for any restaurant to be successful, especially a deli, it's got to be the passion of the family that owns it, that cares. Because your general manager is never going to care the way that the history of your family cares. Just saying. Hi.
Marc, what are some things on the menu that people should look for at the deli now?
Well, the pickles, the Reubens have taken over. There was a time when you sold mostly corned beef or pastrami sandwiches, but now you're still selling the corned beef or pastrami, but we're selling more Reubens than we ever did. I'd say the Reubens are about half the sandwiches we sell are Reubens. So I don't know why. Maybe sauerkraut is supposed to be good for you, and maybe people have picked up on that. Or
Shannon shaking your head, no.
Well, we've seen it in the last 6 years, I'll say, maybe 7 years, that Reubens really doubled the amount of Reubens we're selling.
I think that it's Instagram, because the Reuben is a very photogenic, it's a very sexy sandwich, if I can say that.
The Reuben?
Yeah, it's a very
sexy sandwich.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there that really works. And it's visually beautiful. I'm a photographer, and the pastrami, I would say, is probably, the Reuben is probably the most interesting looking sandwich. Like if you're going to put a sandwich on the cover of your menu, I would suggest a Reuben.
But by the way, I sent you a corned beef Reuben instead of the pastrami Reuben. Now, we sell more pastrami Reubens than corned beef Reubens, but I personally think the corned beef Reuben goes better with the sauerkraut and Swiss cheese. And every time I attempt to eat a pastrami Reuben, I end up ripping it apart and eating the meat out and dipping it in mustard. I have to have mustard with my pastrami. But the dressing goes so well with the corned beef. So with
the corned beef. By the way, I thought what you sent me was perfect. How's that?
I took that picture, by the way.
Well, that one right there?
Yeah, I took that picture with my iPhone.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that.
Well, Will and others are definitely responding to the Reuben, and he says it's his go-to sandwich. So we've discovered the trend that either Instagram or Jeff's photography is helping contribute to here.
I've never taken a picture of a Reuben. I'm just saying.
Well,
I take pictures of people. I take pictures of Larry David. I don't take pictures of Reubens. I go and eat Reubens with Larry David.
But you could take a picture with Larry David with a Reuben.
Yeah, I could.
Okay. I want to give everyone an opportunity. We're coming up on the top of the hour, so I want to give everyone an opportunity on the panel. This has really been a lot of fun. It's very clear why each of you loves deli so much, some for your family, some for the history, some for the tradition, some for the pickles. But, just maybe your elevator pitch about the importance of the deli going forward for the future. What's the vision for the deli of the future for your kids and your grandchildren, that they will come into Canter's and Manny's and hundreds of other delis around the country, and maybe even in Israel, as a result of our listeners getting excited from this episode? I'll start with you, Danny.
I just think the vision is to just keep it going and to keep inviting the next generation to come with you and tell the family history of who you went to your deli with, and to share the foods. There's so many people growing up now that don't know what a knish is and doesn't know what kasha varnishkas are. It's just really important to continue to share what you grew up with your children, so that they share the same things with their children.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Marc?
By the way, speaking of knishes, I discovered something recently. If you take a knish and put it in a panini maker, it squashes it down and it makes it crispy, and it's the best thing you've ever had in your life. But okay, so back to back to that. It's
No, let's not get back. Let's go back to the knish. Really? That sounds fantastic. I know what I'm getting next time I order from Canter's.
Yeah, I discovered it actually 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I've been so obsessed with it. I've been making it for all my friends and bringing it over, and they can't believe all these years they've been eating knishes and loving it, and they just found making it a way to make it better because it makes it crispy. So,
well, that's what I call a Canter's knish. I gave you a name.
But no, it's, you know, the slogan has always been Canter's is a place where grandkids grow up and bring their grandkids. And so we want to keep that going. I remember when back in 1982, when I was just a kid working at Canter's, I see a couple come in, and then I see all of a sudden they're married and they have kids, and I've seen the kids come there on dates, and then I've seen the kids get married and bring their kids. So I'm already, I'm only 55, but I've seen it already. And I hear so many stories of people saying, oh, I had my first birthday party at Canter's when I was 3. And this person is like, 75 or 80 years old. So we want to keep that going. It's just a matter of finding a way to do it. There's always that demand for the food, but you have to, there's challenges in expenses of operating, a deli these days. So you just have to find a way to make it work. If you have to downsize it a little or whatever you need to do, but it's definitely something that will be going, that kind of food is rare and rare. I mean, it's getting rarer and rarer these days. Sure, you can go to the supermarket and get Chinese food and Indian food, and you can eat there probably every day for a year and not duplicate something. But they still don't really have deli. And if they do, it's liquor store deli. It's, taking meat out of the package and cutting it on the machine. And it tastes like bologna. But there's tricks in how you prepare that stuff. And even if you're just going with corned beef and pastrami, if you don't handle it right, it's not gonna be right. So there's always going to be a need for it. It's just in the future. I don't see it growing. I just see the ones that are there maintaining because it's in their blood and they want to keep they have a good name and they want to keep it going.
Shannon, your kid's going to be eating at a deli?
My kids are already eating at delis, and it definitely is exactly what Marc is saying. It's so special. I grew up going to Ben's Deli in Forest, sadly closed, but we bring my kids to delis, before COVID, of course, all the time. And they love the comfort food. They love looking at a menu of foods that feel very, it speaks to your soul. And I hope the delis that have been run in families for multi-generations, like Canter's and Manny's, will continue to thrive. And I see, there's lots of new delis being opened by a new generation of chefs and entrepreneurs who love deli, love the foods and the connection, and are adding, new spins to it, fresh takes. And I think that's also going to be part of the landscape, open to a wider audience, love Jewish food, and hopefully love.
Jeff, many of us have been watching you enjoy deli for decades now. You get the last word on the deli.
Well, here's what I want to say, and I'm happy that I get the last word because I really feel strongly about this. Marc was saying he doesn't know if Canter's will ever be full again. I am so completely positive that once we get the virus under control, Canter's will be filled, Manny's will be filled. Every deli that there is that's already was doing good business before this will do good business again. I mean, I would think that one of the first places I want to go is a deli when I know that I've got a shot and I'm not going to get sick. I think Canter's will be packed to the hilt. I think Manny's the line will be around the block. It already is. I'm looking on Instagram. Everybody wants to keep this going. I wouldn't worry about a thing. Right now, I know it's tough, but it's about hanging tough.
Thanks, Jeff. That's a great message. Thanks to all the panelists. To Danny's point about the next generation, for those of you that either have kids or grandkids, 10 to 12, tomorrow we fully launch at AIFL a fun program for tweens. It's called B-Tweens, and it puts together American and Israeli kids who are stuck at home, driving themselves and their parents crazy. We've put together this program. It's free for anyone. Just take a look at our website. You'll see on all of our social handles. They can sign up, just send them the link, and they can have a little fun. 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern time every day, Monday to Thursday, for the next several weeks, so everybody can have some summer fun. And for those of you that want to join us again next week, come back Sunday at this exact same time, where we're going to be doing, wait for it, yoga. What do you do after a session where everybody's salivating over pastrami sandwich?
Hold on.
Yoga session. Come join us.
Every time I go to yoga, right afterwards, I'm at the deli. Come on. They go hand in hand. When you breathe quietly to yourself, you're saying to yourself, pastrami. Pastrami.
That's exactly right. So on behalf of Jeff Garlin and the rest of the panelists today, let me say namaste. We hope you'll be back with us next Sunday. That translates as sei gesund. Thanks, everybody. Have a great and safe week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne, and enjoy being a tween.
Bye, everyone.